Hey there, it's Jen for Altenew, and today I am going to show you the brand new Build-A-Flower Hellebore stamp set and die. This is awesome because Altenew has a program where you can get a Build-A-Flower stamp set each month. And there's also going to be a blog hopping giveaway, so be sure to check out the link in my video description so you can find out all about that. But today I want to just share with you this awesome Build-A-Flower stamp set, which Altenew is amazing at creating these, and how I am going to use it on a scrapbook layout today. So I am keeping in mind that I'm going to use this photo of my daughter and my new nephew, and I am totally cool with putting flowers on layouts about boys, especially if there's a girl in it, but I want to kind of stick to the blues. And this is great because they have a great example of the flower in blue. Now, always keep this little insert that comes with your stamp sets because it has a layering guide on the back that shows you how to put all of the pieces together, as well as color suggestions if you have their inks. And then on the inside, you get even more inspiration about how you can use them on cards, and even these little card fronts that you can cut out and just stick on a card, which is totally awesome. And again, more color suggestions here. So I'm going to go ahead and get to creating some of these florals and cutting them out, and then I will show you how I'm going to incorporate them into my layout today. So I recently swatched all of my Altenew inks, and I'm looking through here to find some blues and greens. I kind of want to stick to those colors for the flowers on this layout because it's about my little nephew. And so I'm just pulling out some colors that I think might work, and I actually we'll switch one of them up a little bit later, but I am using, for the blues, it's Sapphire, Persian Blue, Caribbean Sky, and Arctic. And then for the kind of greeny colors, it's Mountain Mist, Volcano Lake, and Lagoon. And then I'm pulling out, for the leaves, Evergreen, Sweet Leaf, and Hunter Green. So you can see on the stamp set, they made it really easy because each particular flower has a letter and a number. So A1 is the flower, and then 1 is the first stamp that you need to do, the first layer. Sorry for my crazy hair in this video because I had to lean over to stamp this a little bit, and so yeah, you're gonna see my hair. But I'm stamping the first layer with Arctic Fox. Not Arctic Fox, just Arctic. And I'm grabbing the second layer here and lining it up. There are certain places where you can line these stamps up, and it kind of shows you on the back of the stamp guide where they will line up. So I'm lining those up and stamping in my second color, which is, I thought it was Caribbean Sky, I think it is. And I'm just grabbing the third layer here, and I'm going to stamp this one with Persian Blue, I believe. And I am using an eraser to just kind of season the stamp before I stamp it, since I haven't used it before. And you can use that, you can use the back of your arm, you can just stamp it out a few times. It just helps you get a clearer image. So here's the last little layer. It's kind of a shadow, and I'm going to stamp this with Sapphire, but after I do it, I kind of felt like it was super dark. Like, it felt really dark to me, even after looking at it for a while. I thought for a minute that maybe it was just me, but I decided that I wanted to stamp it in a different color, so I'll stamp those out again later. Right now I'm going to stamp the centers. I forgot about that. And I'm using Caramel Toffee and what is the yellow color? I'll have to look it up, but I'll link to all of the colors in the video description so that you can check it out. But this darker orangey layer is Caramel Toffee. And just stamping 2 layers for the center, and then this flower is done. So I'm going to start on flower number 2 here. I'm just taking my white eraser so I can season the stamp, and I'm choosing those kind of teal or aqua colors for this flower. So they're going to be blue and aqua flowers, and then the green leaves.
And you'll notice that I am stamping it so that I can do 2 at once while it's on the stamp press. So I'm just using an 8.5 by 11 sheet of white cardstock, and then I'm flipping it around 180 degrees. And that makes it really easy to get multiple flowers at once. And you could even flip this 4 different ways if you like. You could just flip it 90 degrees each time and stamp it if you had spaced the flowers right. But yeah, this is going to work for me. So I'm just doing 2 of each for now. I'm not sure how many I'll use, and I never am, but I just stamp out extra just in case, and then I can always use the extra for a card or something else if I don't use them. So here's the 3rd layer of that flower, and you can see how easily they come together. You don't have to use a stamp press or a stamp platform like I am, but it does help when you're lining them up to use it. I'm going to stamp the centers now. So using those same ink colors, there are 2 layers for this one as well for the center. And look how beautiful those look. I love these Build-A-Flower stamp sets. They are my favorite. Now looking back on this, those flowers don't look too bad with that bright blue, but I'm still going to go back and change it. What I'm doing now is I'm going to stamp the leaves. So I'm stamping there's 3 different styles that I'm stamping here. And I'm just doing them all at the same time since they're pretty small. And then I will do all of the layers at the same time as well. So I stamped those in the Sweet Leaf ink, and now I'm lining up the layer here on top. And it's easy to just kind of look through and layer that up to line it up to see where it goes. It's really quite simple. And then I stamped the Hunter Green ink. So that's what I'm doing there. Now I have just the ink cubes from Altenew, and they are perfect for me. I have a lot of different colors. I can store them fairly easily, and they work fantastically. So the leaves have 3 different layers. So I'm going to stamp the final layer, which is that evergreen. It's a dark green. And then these are dye inks, so they dye the paper. So as they sink into the paper, the inks kind of like spread out and they get a really nice color and they fade back just a little bit. So now I'm going to die cut all of these. I'm not going to make you watch me do them all. I'm just using my small die cut machine here. What I do is tape down the die and then cut out the flower. So now I am moving on to starting to create my layout. And what I decided to do was to use the color wheel die and use it as a stencil. That die is cool because it comes with an outline so that you can cut out the whole thing, or you can just cut the middle part. So you can see how there's all that space around the die, like that is just from my paper. That's because I only used the one portion of the die. There's 2 dies, one huge circle and then the color wheel part. And so I just cut out the color wheel part, and I'm using some blending brushes here. These are from Picket Fence. And I'm just using Volcano Lake and I think it was Caribbean Sky to just create that soft look, and I wanted it to be on the corner of my photo, and I love the way that turned out. It looks so pretty. So now I'm going to arrange the flowers, and I'm just going to kind of have the photo laying on a bed of flowers, and I was trying to figure out how to arrange the leaves with the flowers, so I opened up that little guide to see how they had done it, and that was helpful for me. So if you are struggling with finding an arrangement or finding out like how to layer things together, then be sure to check that out because there are ideas in there. I didn't show stamping it, but there's like a little bud, and I stamped that in blue. And then once I got everything where I liked it, I grabbed some of this large washi tape that Altenew has. I love this washi tape, and you get a ton on a roll. So this is a great way to use it. I've seen other people do this with like masking paper or with Glad Press and Seal, but you can also do it with washi tape where you just get everything how you like it, and then you layer the washi tape on top, and you can pick everything up, put adhesive on, and then adhere it to your page and pull off the washi, and then everything stays exactly where you wanted it. So that worked out fairly well. I'm going to rearrange just a couple of things, but now I have it pretty much where I want it, and it was really easy for me to do it that way. So I have that little cluster down there at the bottom. I'm going to add one more flower here. You can see I changed the color on those blue flowers. What I did was I stamped with gray ink because I didn't have another blue that I liked. So I stamped that final layer instead of that bright Persian blue. I stamped it with a gray ink, and that worked out really, really well for layering that up. So I'm stamping some stems for these buds, and that comes in the stamp set. And just kind of lifting the flowers up and stamping it and then putting things back down. I love using a dot roller adhesive because it makes it easy to do things like that, but it will stay put when you want it to. There is one word on this Build-A-Flower stamp and die set, and it says hello. So I'm going to use that for part of my title. I'm going to do hello sweet boy. And those puffy stickers are from the Live Your Dream collection, the scrapbook collection. That's, I think, Altenew's most recent collection, scrapbooking collection. And so I am going to put that at the top. And I decided it would be nice to have another little cluster of flowers kind of next to the title. So I'm just using the rest of what I have and building up a little cluster there at the top, and trying to figure out where I want everything to go. And then I'm going to do the same washi tape trick. I just left my washi tape on my desk after I used it on that first part, and so I just reused it. So no need to waste. And then I will go ahead and stamp the stem, just kind of lifting some things up as I do that and adding that there. And then I will scoot it in. I felt like it was poking out a little bit too much. And then I can get my title down. So the title's slightly touching the flowers. That helps everything to feel connected when you overlap them. That's why I like overlapping things on my photos. But if you're not a fan, you can totally just move them slightly and it will still look good. So I'm thinking about that heart and that little die cut that says happy, what does it say? Happy faces, which they are. And those are from the Live Your Dream die cut pack. And now I'm going to stamp hello. And I love that it fits right between the S and the T of the sweet boy. And so I just stamped that there. And now I'm kind of thinking about the fact that I want to add more stenciling. So I'm just using that color wheel die cut that I previously used and adding some of this ink here on the side. So I will end up doing this in 3 places because I like things in 3s. So one behind the photo, one over here to the left of the page, and then I'll do one at the top as well. And I feel like that's balanced and it ends up looking nice. I have one of those brushes for each color family, so I'm just using the green one and the blue one here. And adding that little half circle at the top too. And the cool thing is when this is done, I actually cut this out and I can use it on another layout. It looks really pretty after I did ink blending over the top of it. So love that. I could have included it on this page, I guess, but I didn't. So there are my 3 areas of stenciling, and now I'm going to embellish it a little bit and add some journaling. So I did decide I wanted that die cut. I went and typed up some journaling on my computer, and I'm just going to add it beneath the happy faces, and I'm going to cut it up into little strips. And I like to do that with my journaling. Sometimes I'll handwrite on pages, sometimes I type it up, sometimes I use my typewriter, but I'm just going to go ahead and glue this down. And I'm using my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. That is my favorite right now. And just gluing those strips down. And I like when I can do the strips because I can kind of tuck it around the flowers, so I can make the lines kind of bounce back and forth and fill in the spaces, and that again makes things feel more cohesive and more like they belong together when you kind of nestle them in that way. So adding that final line there, and then I know I'll need to add a date somewhere, but I'm going to play around with the idea of adding in some patterned paper. I thought it would be fun to fold over one of the corners and add some patterned paper behind it. So I'm looking at my 6x6 paper packs, and I have 2 of them here, but I don't end up using them. What I end up going to, I think anyway, is my Live Your Dream collection. Maybe I end up using that. I think I fold the corner down and then I kind of audition the different papers, but I'll stamp my date real quick and then I'll do it. But I like having just a peek of that patterned paper. So I'm going to fold down the corner and then I'm going to staple it down. And I'm just using a gold staple because I know I want to add some gold splatters. And I will end up using that paper. I really like the way it looks, and you can see a couple of the stripes versus the other one you could only see like one of the diagonal stripes, and all these other options just are not quite right. So I will cut a little piece of this, and again, that's from the Live Your Dream collection, and I'm just going to put that up in the top corner. I love the way that looks, just another little addition of that kind of blue and aqua color. And now I am shaking up my mist. I think this is called Antique Gold from Altenew. I love this mist. Like, it dries fairly quickly. It's a little bit more on the yellow side, but it's a really gorgeous, shiny gold. And so I loved being able to add that in. Very pretty. So now I'm going to some enamel, some enamel dots, and I'm going to add a few here and there, or at least I think I am. And I'm just grabbing some blue and some teals. Altenew has a big selection of different enamel dots. Like, you can get single color sheets, so the colors that you use the most, you can grab there. So I don't know if they have the ones that I'm using right now currently, but I will check. And again, I'll link to everything in the video description. So again, I'm trying to think about whether or not I'm going to add that heart, but I do not, and I'm looking through my other die cuts here to see if there's anything else I might add. And I did pull out another one of those little word strips, and it says something about perfect day. And I thought that worked really well. And then I also I thought about adding the fun day too. So very, very cute picture. Love this picture. And I think that's all I end up adding. I think about adding some of those little wood buttons, but they don't end up working out. So I'm just going to add the enamel dots and call this good. Here are a bunch of close-up photos. I hope that you enjoyed. I loved making this. Those Build-A-Flower stamp sets are my favorite. They're just so gorgeous, and you know I can't resist a floral. So thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, let me know. Don't forget to head over to my blog, CraftyJenSchow.com, so you can check out the blog hop. There are prizes and giveaways and stuff, so be sure to check that out. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.